even get to bronze.
Hey guys, welcome back to XTV. This is the Black Ranger X here. And today I'm going to be having a discussion kind of on, how Carmelo's career would have gone had he not been drafted by Denver. And I'm bringing up this question because a lot of people, just throw shade on Carmelo's name. And I'm not a Carmelo fan, too big of a fan myself, but I do believe that the guy is on that star level and that he is right up in the tier of right below LeBron James, those players like the top tier in the NBA. And I do believe that he does have the potential to win a championship if he can just net in on these few things like defense and a team mentality. Now, in the beginning, as rookies in 2003, LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony were actually very evenly matched. And in fact, a lot of people thought Carmelo was the better buy. But if you look at Carmelo's numbers, he just did better a little bit here and a little bit there. Carmelo averaged 21 points per game as a rookie, and LeBron averaged 20.9. I know that's a 0.1 difference, but he did better in that category. In terms of rebounds per game, Carmelo averaged 6.1 as a rookie versus LeBron, who averaged 5.5. Now, a lot of people to this day, now it's a lot different. LeBron's field goal percentage is always a stat to behold in itself versus Carmelo's, which is a little more shot hungry, as you can see in the numbers. But if you look at his numbers, right here as a rookie, Carmelo averaged 42.6% versus LeBron's 41.7%. Now, these aren't big differences, but you can see by the small margin that Carmelo is the better buy besides the assist category. Now, as we look at their whole careers as it stands now, as a career average, Carmelo's averaged 24.9 points per game versus LeBron's average 27.2. A lot of people think Carmelo is purely a scorer, and that's all he can do. But if we look at blocks per game, he's at 0.5 blocks per game versus LeBron's 0.8. It's not too big of a difference. And if we look at turnovers per game, Carmelo's at 2.9, which is a lot, but LeBron's at 3.4. Now, you could make the argument that LeBron has more of a passing duty because he holds a lot of point guard responsibilities running that team and running all the teams he's been on. But he still does have more turnovers per game. In terms of steals per game, Carmelo does average 1.1 steals per game versus LeBron's 1.7. But here's kind of where Carmelo loses the battle considerably in terms of the assist game, where LeBron's averaged almost 7 with 6.9 versus Carmelo's 3.2. Along with the fact that LeBron has averaged 7.2 rebounds per game versus Carmelo's 6.6. Now, here's where I'm going to get a little theoretical. If we look at Carmelo's overall presence in the game, he's looked at as the last second, and you need a bucket, bailout money. He's always going to be able to create his own shot. He's been looked at that for his whole career. Now, what would have happened had he been put on the Detroit Pistons, which were a very defensive-minded team? That team was very defensive-oriented. That team won a championship against the star-studded Lakers. That team went to the Eastern Conference Finals like 7 years in a row. So what would he have done on that team instead of Denver? Because Denver didn't have anybody when he was drafted. My question is that how would Carmelo have been different had he been drafted by Detroit? And my only thing is Carmelo would already be a multiple ring champion. That was Detroit's main weakness, and it's not like Tayshaun Prince was a bad wing. He was a very good wing. But they played an overall team game. They never had a true standout star. So imagine if that defensive-minded team had one offensive player that could always bring them buckets in dry stretches, in stretches where they just were not scoring. They could turn to Carmelo and get a bucket out of him. And they could also, I bet money, Rasheed Wallace and the boys, Ben Wallace and the boys would not be taking his stuff from talking to me that doesn't want to play defense. No, they have that nigga running up and down the court, man. None of that pussy stuff on the Detroit Pistons. Those boys like playing defense. Those boys get a thrill from playing defense. Carmelo would have had to learn how to play defense from the get-go. So all of Carmelo's flaws, I will say, that's a problem he has to overcome. But I'm not going to put the blame purely on him because from the get-go in his situation, he's never been in a situation where he's around winners. He's always been in a situation where he has to be the one who steps up and be the leader. He's not a natural born leader. Carmelo was best when he doesn't have to be the leader. Just look at the Olympic play. Every time the Olympics roll around, Carmelo looks like a superstar because the responsibility is not purely on him. That's just the kind of player that he is. He's a much better all around and much more consistent version of J.R. Smith's scoring ability, both LeBron pace. And I say that because everyone knows J.R. Smith is very sporadic with his scoring, but when he does score, he's not the main responsibility holder on the team for scoring. He can score in bunches. Carmelo's almost the same way. You just can't give him the pure responsibility because unlike LeBron James, Carmelo doesn't create opportunities for his teammates. He's kind of hate to say this, but a black hole when it comes to the ball. When the ball goes to his area, just know the shot clock is getting used up and he's gonna ISO ball. Doesn't use many screens, doesn't set many screens. Carmelo Anthony is a very interesting player. He tries to fill the stat sheet for himself. And I hate saying this, but it's true. I've watched this guy for many years now in New York. I used to watch him in Denver. Carmelo Anthony is a very talented player. Don't ever get it wrong. That guy is a better scorer than Steph Curry. He's almost as good of a scorer as Kevin Durant. But Carmelo Anthony's main problem is his mentality towards the game. When LeBron has a turnover, LeBron runs his ass off to the other side to get that block, to stop the ball. If he gets a turnover, he's not just going to stop and look and complain to the refs and just look at his teammates like they're stupid. He's not going to sit out the rest of the season for various reasons. I'm not going to get into that. But you can see in LeBron, he has the heart of a champion. I'm not saying you have to do it to put on a show. But come on, man. Quitting during half the season. What the fuck is that? You're not going to win a championship doing that shit. So the main thing with Melo is his career is a product of where he got drafted. If Melo had not been drafted by Denver, his winning spirit, it would be completely different. It'd probably be even better than LeBron's. Because people forget that Melo, he won in college. LeBron didn't go to college. Kobe didn't. The other boys didn't go to college. But Carmelo went to college for a year, and he won. Come on, the guy is a natural winner. The guy went to Oak Hill. Come on, the guy is a natural winner. But in all these situations, he's been surrounded by losers, and he's just developed this losing culture. It's like, I'm going to get my money, get these buckets, get my numbers. Nobody can ever talk about me. I get my buckets. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the game, if you notice, Carmelo, he'll go out gunning to get his numbers. He wants in the 20s. He knows he has to hit a certain mark to keep that contract, that max contract stuff, that max contract talk going. This guy, oh my gosh, man, his career could have been so great. This guy, people dick ride LeBron all the time. You know what? Go ahead, the guy is great. All right, the guy has proven that he's the most all-around player in our league right now for the last 10 years. I mean, there's no competition. But damn it, there could have been. Carmelo was his exact position, same height, same potential. There's no fucking excuse. There's no excuse. That's bullshit. All the excuses you can make for Carmelo, they're not legitimate ones. That's what I'm trying to say. You can't just say, oh, if he got drafted by this team, that team, oh, if he was a part of this team. I can't make that excuse for him. Yes, that is the case. But inside, he had many chances to win, but he chose money. When it came to the Knicks, whether he chose to sign now or wait till they signed everybody else and then he chose to sign now. They couldn't re-sign good players. They couldn't go out and get him help. My man chose money, man. I just don't understand it. Such a great individual player, but that doesn't rub off on everybody else. And that's the sad truth about Carmelo Anthony. If there's anybody else you guys want me to analyze, I'm going to be putting up a Derrick Rose video later on this week. I'm also going to be putting up a prediction for Russell Westbrook. So stay tuned. All right, guys. This is Black Ranger X here on XTV, and I'm signing out. Thank you.